G'day everyone, welcome to a massive Wind Against Tide. We're pre-Easter here. We're looking forward to a massive weekend. Joey's got big plans. He wants to stock up on some whiting to eat for Good Friday, so that'll be interesting. He's also on a bit of a diet at the moment, so he's eating healthily, the old boy.
Am I looking slim?
There's plenty of stuff been going on. There's plenty of stuff to be discussed, but to fire off the show, probably one of the most incredible captures we've seen in quite some time happened just recently. A fella by the name of Wes, who has a Instagram page called Jetski Fishing Tasmania. He's been plugging away. He's caught all sorts of big fish off a jet ski, by the way, but he's been plugging away just recently. Well, not recently, for the last few years, trying to achieve the impossible, or so it would seem, and catch a swordfish, which he's accomplished. So a massive round of applause there for Wes from myself. But welcome to the show, Wesley. Great to have you on Wind Against Tide.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show. I've listened to your podcast. I was fishing, so it's good to be in the show now.
You did send some video of you listening to the show whilst floating around waiting for a swordfish to bite. So we feel like we've been a part of the journey. So we're taking that as a team effort. So well done, everyone. But no, it's a huge achievement, Wes. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about what happened, how it happened, when it happened, a few of the gory details.
Yeah, there's no problem. Yeah, so last week we were on the shelf fishing for swords. But I probably should just take you back a little bit in time on how it all started. So I started fishing with Jonah Yick, we probably all know, for swordfish, and then I decided
Tasmanian correspondent.
I decided to, after catching one on collecting some line on his boat, that I can probably do it myself on the ski. So I've been teaming up with him because it's hard to bring back a sword on the jet ski, especially if you're 50 kilometers out like we were last week.
50 kilometers? People don't go that far in Tassie, do they?
Hey, he's got a jet ski. He's got a 4-stroke engine, so that's all right.
Yeah, no, you gotta follow wherever Jonah goes. So if Jonah goes 50 kilometers, I go 50 kilometers.
Yeah, so Jonah's your safety vessel there in the Cuda craft, basically.
That's right. Yeah, because if I probably would tow a sword back at 5 kilometers an hour, so that would be 10 hours of towing a sword back, which would be a bit too much. Also, fuel wise, it's good to have him over because he has some extra fuel in case I need it.
Oh yeah,
he's got a spare engine in case you need it too. He's very well prepared.
I didn't even think of that. You have to pack more fuel just in case you have to tow a beast back in on the ski. How incredible is that?
That's right. Yeah.
What's the the fuel capacity of your? What is your jet ski, Wes, and what's the fuel capacity of it? Tell us a bit about that.
It's a Sea Fish Pro, which is designed for fishing. So it has a cooler on the back, bigger fuel capacity, so 70 liters in the main tank, and then I have a custom built system which I didn't do myself, but my mechanic he put an extra tank on the back, so that's another 40 liters, so 110 in total. In general, you don't burn 110 liters in a day, usually like 60, 70 liters. But then if for some reason I need to be out there for a long time or towing it back, I just want to have enough fuel. And then actually this trip I had 20 liters in the gunnels and maybe went a bit overboard. John had another 20 on his boat. I could have stayed out probably for another 24 hours, but better to have.
Just in case you hook a proper big sword.
That's right. Yeah, because I had no idea if I hook one, if it's going to last as long as on the boat or 3 times as long. We were expecting probably 4 hours maybe, depending on how big it is.
Yep.
Last year I lost one. That was in the first part of firing, lasted 10 minutes. So when it went airborne, spat the hook. So I never really got the full experience. So I didn't really know what I was getting into, but I was preparing for the worst with pretty much everything.
Yep.
Preparing for that trip, just thinking everything through. Between the seasons, I had a few months to think about what I was going to do if I hook one, how I'm going to gaff it. Everything pretty much 1,000 times in my mind, prepared for that moment. I had my wife helping me in the gardens. I was sitting on the ski and she was pulling the rod down and trying to see what works best harness wise, because I've caught a few fish before, like big tuna, but then once they really start fighting down deep below your ski, that's really when it starts hurting. Like if you put it in a gimbal in your stomach, like it's just very, very painful. So I was trying to work out the way that was least painful, because you're sitting in a pretty awkward position. So, but that still didn't prepare me for what actually happened.
So you can't. You obviously can't use a proper equalizer harness, like a sit-in style harness, like we use in the boat.
Yeah, no, I wear the top part,
Yep.
so I'm clipped to the reel. But then I was trying to work with a normal, like a smaller gimbal. But that just didn't work. I've used it on tuna before, which worked, but the swords, they just fight much more deep, stay deep, and much more force. So I tried it on the ski, it just didn't work. So then, so I'll run through the fight. After 4 drops, I moved to the new spot and dropped the bait there. Got a good bite, got a good hook set as well. That was what happened. Different compared to last time. It was a lot of pressure, stayed deep, so I was really able to crank hard and set the hook.
Yep.
Pretty much stayed deep for probably about 5 minutes. Then I was trying to work out the harness and how it worked well, and then pretty much after that started going up, racing to the surface, but it didn't go all the way up. It was kind of like probably 100 meters deep, just stay there. So I still wasn't sure what I hooked. Of course, it's cool to catch a treasure or something, but that not what I was after. So at one point the reel just started screaming. That's some footage I haven't posted yet, so I'm still working on that. So in the future I'll post that. But that moment the fish did the typical swordfish thing and raced to the surface, went airborne, and I was quite nervous when that happened, because that's exactly the moment where I lost it last year. So when it actually went airborne, I was excited, but at the same time extremely nervous that it would spit the hook again. But the hook set was quite different, so I was hoping it would stay in, and it stayed in, and then the real fight happened.
So it was you were using a circle hook, so it was in the corner of the jaw this time?
Correct. Yep.
Perfect. That's exactly. Well, that is where you want to hook them, but it also probably means they fight quite hard when hooked like that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. For actually accomplishing the mission, it crossed my mind, like, oh, shall I use a J hook to just instead of a 5-hour fight, make it shorter? But then I was like, oh no, I gotta have the full experience, and in case for some reason I want to release it, and of course that's a better way to go as well. So I just use the normal setup with a circle, which it was a good hook set. Then the real pain started.
Yep. So did it feel, or was there any danger of, because swordfish fight very straight up and down, of you getting pulled out of the jet ski or the jet ski tipping over?
No, it's actually I don't know if you've been on any jet skis before, but when you hop on the jet ski the first time, I remember my own feeling was like, oh shit, I shouldn't lean over to the side too much, because I was worried I'm gonna just flip it as soon as I lean over a little bit. But it's actually surprising how much you have to actually lean over. I've leaned over a lot, and I wasn't even close in any kind of situation to actually tip the ski. They're actually very stable. They don't tip that easily. And you don't get. I'm fishing with relatively light drag compared to maybe other people. I fish with 8 kilo drag. So it's not too extreme. If I would put a GR 50 on it with heavier line and much more drag, then for sure it becomes a bit more challenging.
Mm.
There were a few moments where the fish was pulling deep real hard, and so the rod was just bending down and almost hitting the gunnel of the ski. So that was a bit, yeah, but the drag was loose enough for it just to go. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So how long was the fight, did you say? Several hours or?
Yeah, it was just over 2 hours. So
Yep.
pretty much after about an hour, I got a hold of Jonah, who was busy catching kingfish, so he didn't pay attention to his phone and didn't see the message.
See, that's
He's a little bit obsessed with that at the minute, old Jonah.
Yeah, he got
catching the micro kingfish.
classic distraction.
Yeah, no, so I was actually trying to relay a message through other boats that were. I saw a boat that was fishing pretty close to me, so I was hoping that he could relay my message because I have a handheld VHF. I haven't installed a fixed one on my ski yet, so pretty much have like 8 miles range, and he was pretty much on that 8-9 miles range from me. So get a hold of him through the radio. But we agreed I would text him on the Garmin in reach, which he would just have to look at his phone to be able to see it.
So
so
just
then
to quickly delve
Mm.
into that slightly,
Mhm.
because we were going to mention some of the safety precautions you take, just in case anyone watches this and goes flying out there on any old jet ski. So Jonah was saying to me when he spoke about this that you do have that Garmin handheld sat phone sort of thing, but it actually, you can text him your exact coordinates and it comes up with your exact location for him to be able to find you.
That's right. Yeah, you don't have to put in the coordinates yourself. As soon as you send a message, you can just enable the function that it automatically sends the coordinates with it.
Yep.
And yeah, before we actually, I actually bought it not too long before we went out, and we just also aligned on the GPS coordinate style. Like you can have different settings for GPS, but we just want to make sure it was the same setting as he has on his chart plotter, so in that way he doesn't need to convert it to a different GPS unit. So yeah, so we pretty much was just able to put it in and find me without even having to call me or nothing. Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Perfect. So he dragged himself away from his 10-centimeter kingfish and came down, and he, by the time he got there, you pretty much had it under control by the looks of it from the videos I saw.
Yeah, I think at that point it was pretty much fighting about 30, 50 meters below the ski, just doing the circles. Yeah, I didn't do anything too crazy anymore when they were there. Just that was the most difficult part though, because before it was fighting, the first part of the fight was still far away from me, which is easier on the body because the rod is just pointing towards the fish and towards the horizon, and it's not too bad. But then the last part, it really stays straight underneath your ski, and my ski was just spinning every time the sword was doing a circle. The ski is just getting towed with the with the sword. Which
the fish was towing the jet ski around quite easily, was it?
Yeah. Yeah, now you can see the ripples of the water when I was going sideways. But yeah, conditions were.
It's
were
very
perfect, so
reminiscent of Old Man in the Sea, Joe. Ernest Hemingway, that old book. Did you ever read that one?
No, I didn't.
Oh, mate, you got Rex Hunt's book over there, but you haven't read Old Man in the Sea.
No, I haven't.
So I'm reading for you after the show, mate.
But yeah, look at it. We just got it up on the screen now. Where's he's loaded into that swordfish, and the rod is fully buckled over, and it looks like he's driving in a circular motion on it.
They are a bit of a straight up and down fighter once they get into the fight, and very hard to actually drive off and get any angle on. They just seem to want to hang straight under the boat or ski. Is that what you found, Wes?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I've been on the boat a few times with a sword, and it was doing pretty much the same as when you're on the boat. Yeah, just fighting in circles below it, and pretty much same thing. Yeah.
So eventually, you got this mighty swordfish up. It was fairly beat by the time you got up and put a gaff in it, and obviously, you couldn't fit it on the ski, so you were able to lift it aboard Jonah's boat to head on in, were you?
Oh, well, they did it for me. But yeah,
Yeah.
I just passed the gaff.
You were done by that stage.
Yeah. Yeah, I was. Yeah.
You just enlisted
Yeah.
help.
That's right. Yeah, I didn't.
Oh, look,
mention
Jonah
that,
caught a sword.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I didn't mention that before. Actually, I was able to put a gaff in my arm, start cramping. I should have changed the gear on my Tiagra to different gear earlier, but I was just so focused on the fight that I didn't. So my arm, I was worried at one point I couldn't get the gaff in because so much cramp in my arm that I couldn't move my fingers.
Yeah.
So I switched to a different gear, and then it was easier on the arm. I was able to get the gaffs in, and then of course before I even gave it to Jonah, we still did a big photo shoot. So that was actually probably a big portion of my muscle pain the next day, was trying to lift that sword up and take some good photos. And
It looks like a beautiful.
You know how long it takes.
Yeah,
It looks like a beautiful, comfy cushion there to sit on that and just delightfully wind in a swordfish. Hey,
I was more looking at how beautiful the swordfish is. It's a great example. Like it's a proper big fish, and actually having it next to you on the ski there gives it great proportion. So that's, I read, it has been said that is the largest and the second swordfish ever caught off a jet ski in the world. Is that true?
As far as I know, that's true. Yeah. Normally, people would post something like this on the internet. I've done quite a lot of googling and couldn't find anything. So that's when I started trying. No one actually caught one before. At least no one posted anything before. So if you haven't posted anything, then share a photo for me. You haven't caught it.
No. If it's not on social media, it didn't happen.
yeah.
No, exactly. So last year, no one caught one before. So it was actually my goal to be the first one, but then a guy in Miami caught sword before me. That was after I lost my first one, so I was pretty glad it could have been the first one, but in the end, it's about experience, and it was
I think
at least the biggest one so far. So
I think his one was a knife anyway. It was much smaller than your one. I remember Jonah told me that you were actually quite upset at that time because you'd been beaten to the punch, but you came home strong with an absolute ripper.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was definitely and it is the first one solo because he was with another person. So
it barely counts. It barely counts, Wes. So so how big did that one weigh when you took it back to the famous Eagle Hawk neck gantry? And did Stuart Nichols weigh it for you, the weighmaster?
No, he was tied up, but it was 132 kilos.
Yep.
So
Beautiful fish.
we had
You'd be happy with that from any boat, let alone the jet ski. So that's awesome. So it got weighed there at Eagle Hawk Neck, and then you've probably been dining on sword steaks ever since, Wes.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, I gave the boys on the boat part of it for helping me and changing their day around, because pretty much for hours we were spending on getting it weighed and processing it at Jonah's place as well. So I thought the least I could do is give them part of it. So
well, apparently
I got enough in my freezer anyway. So
you interrupted Jonah's afternoon of marlin fishing. He told me he was
marlin or baby kingfish.
Yeah, and you know him. He would have probably put like one lure or skip bait in the water and probably hooked a marlin. So no, but it's fantastic that you had that network out there, and absolutely amazing capture. Will we see that beaten? Are you going to continue to try for swords, or is that now ticked off the list and you can go and retire in peace now?
No, the next goal is to catch a bigger one for sure. I just got to figure out a way to have the rod in a different position, or maybe have I was thinking of having another rod built with a Terminator bot, and then trying to have a bit different position, because I don't know if you saw in that photo I sent you guys, like I'm actually sitting on the rod, so I'm removing from the gimbal. I was actually sitting on the rod, which is not very comfortable.
You poor balls. Yeah, we've got that photo up now.
Yeah.
Do you have children, Wes?
Not yet. I might not ever have.
But you've got a big swordfish. That's all that matters. Very good.
Yeah,
Hey,
no.
while we've got you, this isn't. We've actually featured you on the podcast before because you've had a couple of other big fish captures out of the jet ski. Did you want to just quickly reel off a few of those other ones, Wes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Bluefin is big target normally. So yeah, we caught a 68 kilo solo. That was my biggest one.
Excellent.
With no seals at the time. It was good. And actually turned out to be the biggest fish of the year, the tuna club, because everything else
Wow.
didn't make it the rules. So that was pretty good. And then together with a friend of mine who works for the same company, he never fished for tuna before, and I took him on the ski to the Hippolyte, and we didn't even finish a lap around the Hippolyte and hooked up. That was a 98 kilo bluefin. So he was pretty stoked. Never fished on Jetski before, never fished for tuna before, and hooked up right away. So that was the biggest tuna we got so far together with two people on the ski. So still got that mission to catch a barrel 100 kilo plus solo. I haven't done that.
So are you concerned at all about the vicious seals that you do get down that neck of the woods? Because like people think that seals as being all fluffy and cuddly, but they're bloody down there. They're eating 100-kilo tuna, and they are quite aggressive. And you're not very far off the water.
Yeah, no, they can be interesting actually. Yeah, like that worries me more than trying to catch the swordfish. Yeah, they taken tuna off my ski before when I was trying to race off, but they're so quick. They just follow you and just grab it off the ski. It was just coolly. Yeah, that big fish that we got together was attacked by seals as well, and yeah, we were able to get it in, but it was definitely tricky. I haven't. In the beginning, I was wearing shin protection, for like soccer.
Shin guards.
Yeah, shin guards. Yeah.
Wow.
Just in case they tried to grab the tuna and grab my shin instead. But yeah, no, I feel comfortable enough not wearing them. But I don't know, I might be considered again when the tuna are going full on again here.
I would like to see you trolling around Eagle Hook Neck in like a full cricket attire, like pads and a helmet. And
he's pretty much padded up here.
Seal protection suit.
Yeah,
he looks like a security guard at the cricket. Actually, the way with his walkie-talkie and his top pocket there, and his thick black sunglasses and hat.
Well, anyway, now you've got Now you've got an actual sword, so you can carry that around for protection as well when chasing the tuna.
Yeah, no, it's better if they just leave you alone. But yeah, it's interesting. They're pretty aggressive.
Well, you are a modern day gladiator of the seas, and you've caught a gladiator of the seas. So, Wesley van der Herrick, a massive congratulations to you. Do you want to tell everyone who's listening where they can follow your adventures on the socials and whatnot?
Sure, yeah. It's pretty easy to remember. Jetski Fishing Tasmania. I got a Instagram page and a Facebook page, so either one. That's where I normally post. I got a YouTube channel as well, but I haven't posted lots yet. So, but I think I will make a few good videos out of this swordfish adventure. So I'll probably be posting on all three channels.
Beautiful. We've just got your Instagram up there now for anyone who wants to go and check that out. So future ambitions are bigger swordfish and bigger tuna, and we look forward to following your journey, Wes. So thanks for coming on the podcast tonight, and
sounds good.
We will keep in touch. We won't.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We won't be joining you. We won't be joining you on the jet ski, but we'll follow from the comfort of our armchairs and boats.
Sounds good. Yeah, thanks for having me on the show, and I'll be watching you, listening to it again, trying to catch that bigger sword.
Fantastic. Yep. You hook up while you're listening to us, and that'll be all the sweeter. So good on you, Wes. We'll chat to you soon. Cheers.
Thanks, Wes.
Thanks, guys.
See you, mate.
See ya. Bye.
There you go, Joey.
Yeah, pretty incredible.
A fantastic guest.
I didn't know that they actually sold jet skis that were built for fishing. I thought they were only
Yeah,
to-
the Sea-Doo fish ski is what it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So no, I've actually seen them around a little bit. It's an interesting form of fishing, and I quite like it. Very fast. Obviously, more of a solo. You know what? I forgot to mention to Wes, because
What?
apparently part of this story, and I'm spewing, I forgot to talk to him about this, but anyway, he the sounder on his jet ski obviously can't get anywhere near the bottom of the sea
I
floor out
wouldn't
there.
think so. You can't do a shoot through hull.
Well, you probably could. But yeah, so he can't see the sea floor or the bottom of the ocean with his sounder. So he's actually just working off maps and dropping in likely looking areas. So there you go. You don't need all the big fancy electronics and the massive boats. You can just look at the maps and do some dropping, and you can come up trumps with a beautiful fish like that, Joey.
Old school.
Now, moving on with the show, and there's plenty more stuff to cover. There had just recently been a little bit of a catastrophe that I suppose we should mention, and sad news, Joseph. In America, there was a container ship has struck a bridge. So it was in Baltimore. And
Oh wow.
yeah, so
It's not like the Montague Street Bridge in South Melbourne, with the clearance under it.
It's much bigger. So this container ship struck that bridge, the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore. And have you seen much of this on the socials, Joey?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. So unfortunately, there's been a few people that they evacuated most of the bridge, but there was still some construction workers and a couple of cars on there, and they.
How the freaking hell do you hit a bridge like it's right in front of you?
So this container ship, actually, there's a video that I couldn't quite find before the podcast, but I had seen it, where this container ship actually did lose power.
Okay.
So it's a failure of the engine or something like that, and they actually lost power to the container ship, and very sad. They've struck that bridge, and there is several people still missing who are obviously not going to not likely to have survived that. So sad news from over there in the US, Joey.
Oh, that is serious. Not a vacated bridge.
Yeah, no good. But yeah, just thought we'd update everyone with a bit of news there. Moving on through a few of the other topics. There's been some good fishing going on. Joe, you're looking forward to Easter. What's your Easter fishing plans?
I can't wait for Easter. If we have a look at the long-term forecast for our Melbourne waterways for this weekend, it's looking absolutely beautiful. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even Monday, all under 10 knots. It's looking really fantastic just about anywhere you can go. Up on your screen there now. Have a look at it, Dave. What is your take on that, on that card of weather for this lovely Easter weekend?
You don't see it like that too often, though. Normally on a long weekend, it's absolutely horrible, but it is looking fantastic. And yes, there's been a few requests, and Bo Ely's just brought it up there on the live chat. And I'm not joking. I've had more than one person ask me, or they've told me, Joe, that their favorite part of the whole podcast is your fuel price updates. They love it.
Yeah, we're going to go straight into my fuel update, and we're just going to kick it off with this message today.
It goes
from,
again. The price of gasoline is skyrocketing.
President Donald Trump.
Like
we've got a message from Donald Trump today about gasoline.
Bit,
we'll start that again.
Big. It's nearing $4 a gallon in many states, and just like the old days under Biden, and came down a little bit, but it's going up, and it's going up big. It's nearing $4 a gallon in many states, and much more than that in some. Prices are up almost 6% in the last month alone, and they'll be going even higher. It's going to go higher and higher. The price of gasoline affects everyone and everything. American families are paying for it, not only at the pump, but also in the cost of your groceries, your package deliveries, and virtually everything you have and everything you buy. Joe Biden actually wants high gas prices because they help with his ridiculous policy of abolishing gasoline-powered engines and forcing everyone into expensive
all right, that's enough.
all-electric cars that don't go.
All right,
that's enough ranting.
Easter Easter fuel update. Unleaded petrol. I haven't done diesel. I'm sorry for all those diesel guzzlers. Unleaded petrol. Here we go. Right now, we are currently in Carrum Downs. Carrum Downs United petrol is value for money at $1.98. You might not think $1.98 is good at the minute, but when you see how much fuel is going to go up this weekend, you will say, Joey, I should have filled up at $1.98. $1.98 Carrum's down. Down at 7-Eleven, down at Mornington. You might want to get a nice Slurpee or $1 coffee or $1 freaking iced hot chocolate. I don't know, whatever you like. 7-Eleven
I'd be surprised
Mornington.
if they're $1 anymore, given the cost of living rising, as Donald's just told us there.
$2.19, not value for money at Mornington. And then if we go all the way to the other side of the southeast suburbs of Melbourne, far southeast, we go down to Pakenham BP, $1.99 there, which is not too bad. What's your favourite petrol, Dave, if you had to pick your brand of petrol station?
Oh, BP's good, Joe. I mean, BP, you can't go wrong. But unfortunately, I've pretty much got a United in close proximity to my house, which everyone seems to be not a fan of. But yeah, no, that's it's done. I've pumped that through the old Mercury for some time now, and I haven't actually had any issues. So you know what? I'm gonna defend United's fuel quality there and say it's not too bad, Joe.
Oh, you're a big fan of United. You always got.
No, I wouldn't say that.
No, you are, because when the Aussies are playing cricket, you've got great pleasure in walking in and letting the Indian attendant know how well the Aussies are doing in cricket.
Yes, no, I do enjoy a bit of banter with the cashiers there. I say I'm probably your best customer and give me a discount, and they don't even smile, Joe.
They laugh it off. But then all the way to the west, go west, over down to Geelong, BP North Lane, $1.89. So that is not too bad. Well, it's actually cheap. I'm going to say that's probably the cheapest fuel at the moment. And then, look, if you're heading down the east coast, I've taken a sample package of data out from Traralgon BP. That's also value for money at $1.89. So there you go. $1.89 is your cheapest fuel that I have seen. But fill up now, because my gosh, is it going to skyrocket this weekend? And that's my fuel update.
They're going racing on up, Joe. And I'm not joking. I had more than one person tell me that that's their favorite part of the show. And why haven't we had Joey's fuel updates on recently?
Look, I'll even do a request. Anyone in the chat room, where do you want to know how much fuel is? I'll do live by request fuel update.
Yes. Good luck to everyone with that one. Moving on, Joe. I hope everyone enjoyed that and they know where to get their fuel for the long weekend. I've had a little bit of a thought going around in my head recently, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
My boat, she came pre-named. It's called.
Yeah, she did.
It's called Extreme, and you know, like
Robson
okay,
Green,
but
extreme fishing.
It's okay, but you know, like I'm a dad now. I'm not that extreme anymore, Joe.
Oh,
and I thought I wouldn't mind renaming the boat. But there's some do's and don'ts to boat renaming, Joe. Apparently it's bad luck, they say. So I've looked it up.
Oh, okay. Well,
so first of all,
I didn't think you could rename a boat. I thought once it's christened,
you got to sacrifice some lambs and stuff like that. So how to rename a boat? Remove all traces of the current name.
Doesn't the sticker like bake in sometimes to the paint?
Yeah, you got to buff it out.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Remove all traces of the current name. So you remove the current name. Obviously, that's a no-brainer. Begin the purging ceremony, Joseph.
What's a purging ceremony? What does that involve?
The official ceremony in which you address Poseidon himself calls for good champagne and good friends as witnesses. Once you've gathered together on the bow of the boat, recite the following. And you can all read that there. I'm not going to go through it all. But basically, you're summoning...
I'll read it. So you start the purging ceremony, you put your arms out and you go, Almighty and great ruler of the seas and oceans, to all whom all ships and we who venture upon your vast domain are required to pay homage. I implore in your graciousness to expunge for all time your records and recollection of the name Extreme, which has ceased to be an entity in your kingdom. As proof thereof, we submit this ignot bearing in her name to be corrupted through your powers and forever be purged from the sea.
Live reading from Joseph Fernand, everyone.
Yeah. There you go. I just started the ceremony for you, so we can just finish the rest this weekend.
Well, so then you drop a metal tag over the bow and you say, in grateful acknowledgement of your magnificence and dispensation, we offer these libations. Didn't even know what that word is. To your majesty and your court.
You have to sound like an English lord.
Yeah.
Like you know how I put on the voice for when we rode the Parchment for Whiskey Club? Same vibe.
So my wife has just pointed out that we do have about a 15-year-old cat who's gone quite senile of late, Joe. And he just meows at me all night, basically, and wakes me up. And
I love that cat.
it may be mentioned that potentially if something had to be sacrificed, it could be him.
What? No.
No, we love the kitty.
So,
but he has been keeping me up. It's killing me.
Oh, well, don't worry. You're about to have probably a screaming baby.
Yeah, that'll be good too.
Oh, you will have dueling. You'll have a cat and a baby.
Oh, dearie me.
Stereo.
Well, you love the cat. You just told me you can take it.
Yeah, I will. Like, you can come.
So anyway, third step there is you do a renaming ceremony. And I won't let Joe read this whole one out.
That's fine.
There's some more champagne had. I think it's just an excuse to drink some champagne. And then you appease the four wind gods.
Oh, what the hell?
So there's some...
This is way too complicated, man.
That's a fifth step.
What the hell?
Drink more champagne. I think we can just skip through a lot of this and just get drunk by the looks of it.
No, I think you just get drunk and pretend you're an English lord, and then you just smash a bottle of champagne down the side and pop the new sticker on. Done.
So anyway, if anyone can come up with a really good name for the boat, we'll give you some sort of a prize from Wind Against Tide. And
you're being serious. You actually want to rename your boat?
Yeah, if it's good enough. And we will do it, and we will film the ceremony. Joe can do his incantations and summon Poseidon from the sea. And so any suggestions? I don't know if you've got any off the bat there, Joe. Putting you on the spot.
Yeah, we heard some rather good boat names at the Alliance game fishing competition a couple of weeks ago. You know, they were cool boat names like the Hustler and Bent Over. Wait, are you sure we went to a game fishing competition, or did we go to some kind of adult expo?
You either go kind of like with like a pun name, like Bent Over, or all the dad boat names. Like there was one here, Peer Pressure, like peer pressure. Very funny. Yeah. Or you go like a really classy name, like a lady name, because boats are girls.
Or you go Spanish or Italian, like La Dolce Vita, which is the beautiful life.
That was a beautiful name. I like that one.
You did. You were like, oh, I didn't know that. I taught Dave a bit of Italian when we were at the dinner table of the presentation.
It did very much confuse Sandy, who was the Bermagui bass radio operator. He couldn't quite hear that in muffled tones over the radio. Are you in the comp? Yes, we are. So I suppose you've got to take that into account when renaming a boat, is make sure you've got a clear and legible name. But I had one, Joe, I thought, and I like the idea of having a boat name that then has a song that can accompany it.
Oh, yeah.
So we had Jonah down there in Tassie, one of his boats. Well, he's renamed. Actually, Jonah renamed my old boat too, and he didn't do any of that ceremony.
Oh, yes. It's because it's Sally now, right?
Yeah, Mustang Sally. His old boat was a Savage. No, that doesn't work. Okay, anyway. He's Mustang Sally, and every time he caught a good fish, he'd play that song.
All right.
So I thought, how about this one, Joe? Dire Straits. Bass Strait, Dire Straits, Money for Nothing. Blast that as you're cruising in. That's a good guitar riff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. That's good.
So that's one thought I had. But yeah, watch this space. If anyone has a really good suggestion, send it through to us on the socials. And you never know, we might go ahead and do that.
Oh,
Get the champagne ready, Joe.
Yeah, that's it. Or maybe some prosecco. Maybe I can get some Aperol spritz happening.
Well, that's not in the. That's not in the instructions.
That's not in the manual, you reckon?
You're straying from the instructions. And just talking about competitions, Joe, we loved our competition experience. And I know I mentioned the other day the Kubota Billfish Classic over there in New Zealand, which caught my eye, but mainly because of the giant money involved.
Yeah.
And I did just see some results today, so I thought I'd give a quick update on that just to cap that one off.
Yeah, cool.
Mainly the first prize, $462,000, Joe, which was awarded to a boat called the Godfather. And
That's a good boat name.
Walk away from that competition very, very wealthy. The heaviest billfish, which was a $350,000 prize, was captured by a boat called Midlife Crisis, and that was 256 kilo blue marlin. So some quite exceptional fishing to be had there, Joe.
That's good.
I can go right through the list. There was some good fishing to be had, but
that's huge prize money for a game fishing competition.
Like that's life change. Like that pays for their fuel for the day in those big boats.
Yeah.
And a little bit more. But yeah, very big competition. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Would like to get over and experience that one day. Hopefully it's around in the next few years.
Well, there's a yellowfin competition coming up in May up at Permageary. Did you see that one?
No. Yes, the Canberra Yellowfin tournament, isn't it?
Yep.
There you go. Get ready.
That was on the fly, but no, there's
we're competition men now.
Yeah, we love it. But we'll get to the hookup later on. But yeah, a few yellowfin sniffing about.
Tunas?
Yeah.
There actually is, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
Apparently the Codfather would be a better name, Mark Haley reckons.
No, I like that. That's good.
We don't catch cod though. We'd like to. Oh, apparently there's already an Edencraft called in Dire Straits. That sucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Scrap that name.
Well, actually, when I first had my gunshot, my Cootercraft gunshot, I called it 12 gauge.
Oh, really?
And I never officially got the sticker done or anything, and just was going with that. And then rocked up to Portland one day, and there was already a gunshot with that name, and they had a sticker. And I was like, oh, damn it, you can have it.
Mm.
So I tucked my tail was between my legs, and I went nameless.
Yeah, that's right. It wasn't named that boat.
No, and now Joan has taken over and actually catches fish. So
it's Sally 2.0, isn't it?
Yep. Bit like the Vegemite 2.0. Remember that back in the day when they relaunched Vegemite?
No.
Oh, come on, Joe.
I don't.
Well, you need to look into that as well.
Okay. Very good.
A little bit of Kingfish information, Joseph. Project Kingfish.
Oh.
We've shared a few of their bits of tagging information recently, and this one popped up just today. So they recently had a satellite tag recovered by Kurt Clifton off Jarvis Bay. It was at liberty for 7 months, originally tagged in Jarvis Bay by Ian Osterloh. The tag was recovered, so that means they get heaps of raw data off it. So they've got a 48-hour snapshot of the depth and temperature used of this fish last year in December, showing that the fish completed incredible back-to-back dives from 30 meters down to over 130 meters, Joe. So that is significant depth, I would have thought, for a kingfish, 130 meters. But
well, we have seen on the maps, they're sort of actively swimming in Bass Strait. So yeah, look, I think they're doing laps of the ocean. 130 meters should be in their limits.
Well, it seems so. But the interesting thing was when they zoom in even closer on the diving behavior, they can see that once the fish got down to 130 meters, it quickly ascended to only 10 meters in depth, which was 6 degrees warmer than the deep water, and proceeded to descend back down the water column again, all in only 4 minutes, Joe. So it was racing up and down.
Wow, that's pretty quick.
So most fish that do this obviously will suffer from barotrauma, which is like a bloating.
Oh, and we could just be waiting in the boat and just pick them off with the gaff, just collect them, like like the little claw from the freaking vending machine. We just pick pick up barotraumaed kingfish.
I could borrow your dead fish grabbing stick you've got out there. You've got like a robot arm that you use to pluck dead fish out of your fish tank, I saw. So very interesting. You can see some of the graphs shown there on the screen right now. But if you want to have a better look at that information, it's on the Project Kingfish socials. But yeah, they're immune to the barotrauma because they're able to vent the buildup of air. And very, very cool, Joe. So worth jumping on and have a look at that, because the more we know about these fish that we chase around the oceans, the more effective killing machines we can be. I mean, it's very interesting.
What are you talking about? We haven't caught a kingfish this year. I wouldn't say we're effective killing.
No, we're very
machines.
ineffective.
Yeah.
But we are easily distracted, to be fair.
I know.
As soon as there's tunas eating poppers, we can't help ourselves. No, to be fair, we put a few hours in towing live baits this year.
Yeah, I don't know. On the old kingfish discussion, I'm thinking about going the other way on it.
Just banning them.
No, I'm going the other way. There's a lot of people that are crap at catching them. So, let us keep 5.
Oh, okay.
I reckon there's heaps of people crap at them. Like, not everybody's like a gun at catching them.
So you think it's just a case of get what you can and get out of there? The numbers may be in trouble, but once you actually get on a bite, you just harvest as many as you can because it's what's fair.
But I think there's such a fussy fish to catch in Victoria. It's just my opinion. I feel there's such a fussy fish to catch. What are the chances are in one season you're going to get 5 per person?
Well, they are in our local waters, but Joe, we actually have seen quite locally some very good bites, but especially down there around the prom, there's boats catching 20, 30, 40 fish in a day at times. So we need to take that into account, that as the fishery does hopefully improve, then people are going to be catching big numbers of the fish in a day. So
I haven't done a great deal of fishing, admittedly, down the prom, just only a very, very little bit. But is it that bad down there at the moment?
Oh, I don't know about bad, but the bag limits are allowing people to keep big numbers of fish. And there was a point there a few months ago where there was 300 odd fish in this one small area, all catching them hand over fist. And I don't know. You'd have to look at the scientific research. We're going to get some guys on the podcast soon that are going to be able to talk about this in a bit more depth.
We've been wanting to cover that one properly, actually. It is very, very interesting. And I'm happy to be proven wrong. But I just feel like I haven't caught a kingfish in the last 2 years. Probably tried, 6 times.
So when you are unleashed upon a good bite, you'll be killing. You'll be chanting kill. No, but it's, when there is those awesome bites and people are amongst it, there's a tendency
Am I being unreasonable there? Many people are...
No, well, I don't think there's any need to be keeping 5 per person, to be honest. But each to their own. And you cannot blame people for doing that until there's scientific backing and real data that shows that that's gluttonous.
But what I'm saying is, how often will someone catch 5? That's my question. I think it's very hard to catch 5.
Data. Which one is it, Joe?
I don't know. Potato.
I'm getting told off by Shane, but Shane's just written data. Is it data or data?
I don't know.
Now, watch that space. We are going to get some experts in that field on the show.
We are. That'll be very interesting to cover that one. There you go.
That just popped up, and I wanted to have a bit of a look at it.
Good tangent, Dave.
Now, quick show update. I did put out a bit of a social media story this morning, so we are obviously quite busy. I've got another baby due in a few weeks, which is pretty exciting. But
it's a boy.
It is a boy, and his name is Shimano. So Shimano have been nice enough to offer to cover his school fees for the rest of his life if I do name him Shimano, middle named Stratic. So that's going to be fantastic. Thank you, Shimano. No, so yeah, that's all going to be very exciting, Joe. But I just wanted to point out that potentially we may miss a week or two, but we'll definitely be at least fortnightly but we'll be up and running again. And we are looking to move into a new studio as well. So that's very exciting.
Yes, we are.
So that's all exciting news, Joe. But when we're making the move, obviously there might be some interruptions as well. Hopefully we can sort out a really good secure internet connection. That's probably the main box to tick before we do that.
But thankfully, I don't think there's been any problems tonight.
No, it doesn't seem like it, apart from some audio complaints earlier. But that was just Shane, who is a massive whinger. Let's move on to the hookup, Joe.
All right, let's do it.
Ooh. Oh no, he's forgotten his buttons.
Hey!
Welcome to the hookup, where we go around Australia and indeed the world for the freshest fishing reports. The first one here, Joe, is a shout out to our friends from Fishing Online. So Andrew Page, who has done some good old fashioned exploring off the coast of Apollo Bay, Joe.
Wow.
Do you want to explain a little bit about what is going there up on everyone's screens?
I'll just read it.
Do that.
Fishing Online AU. We're still on a high. After work on Wednesday, we headed to Apollo Bay, Victoria, where we got a little bit of shut-eye in the boat before heading out around 4:30 a.m. Thursday. The 220-kilometre round trip saw us taking over 4 long hours to get to a destination we wanted to try. It was a 3-metre swell and a fair bit of wobble from the day before, but no wind. We eventually got to the area we wanted to try. It was 120 metres and showed good soundings, about 5 kilometres from the edge. Just need to see some more there, please.
At least you didn't read see more.
It was about 120 metres, showed good soundings, about 5 kilometres from the edge of the shelf. On the first drop, to our surprise, we landed our target species, a striped trumpeter. With a few more drifts resulting in school shark after school shark and ocean perch, we thought we might only end up going home with 1 stripey, but as luck had it, we ended up getting 6, with the biggest one measuring just over the magical metre mark. Holy moly, that's a huge trumpy.
They're solid trump dogs, Joe, and kind of an untapped fishery. Like some of the ground out there is fantastic, but it's not for the faint of heart. It's a so what's Andrew said, a 220k round trip. So they're running over 100k each way, and it's not like off Lakes Entrance we're doing big distances. It is a nasty piece of water there too, but Apollo Bay is probably some of the crappiest seas that you can possibly find in the States / Australia. There's so much reef there. There's current. There's giant swell rolling through. So, I don't really envy running that distance, but the results show that if you're willing to go out of your comfort zone, you can catch that beautiful fish like that, which we're used to seeing down there in Tassie, but not so much here in Victoria. I mean, they do get caught, but that's sensational. So, bloody hell, Joe, hit the King Kong Donkey Kong catch of the week on that one.
Right.
Just do it.
King Kong Donkey Kong, mate. Look.
That's
fantastic.
Good. You know what I love about this time of the year? We do get some fantastic patches of calm weather, which is why people are venturing out. Usually in this autumn period of weather, we get these massive high pressure systems where it's calm. When it's a big high pressure system, it's moving very, very, very slowly over, so we can have some stable weather, which has probably got a little bit to do with why it's so good this weekend in Melbourne. So love it this time of year when the weather's good. Get to do some nice long range fishing.
Absolutely. And you're right. So autumn is known for having some calmer spells of weather, more settled weather. Haven't really had that in the last few years, but hopefully we're going to see that this autumn. With lots of exciting fisheries just starting to kick off. We're in a bit of a change of season period now. So you're getting that mix of summer fish through to the winter fish.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have some sort of like alarm or foghorn sound effect that we can play?
Let me just have a look. Yep.
Sound the barrel alarm, Joseph.
Oh, really? Is that what that's for?
It has happened.
Are you declaring barrel season open?
Like absolute clockwork, barrel tuna season has begun.
Here or somewhere else?
Port MacDonald.
Ah,
So just in time for Easter, which how often does that happen?
it happens
As we
all
approach
the
the
time.
Easter period, you start seeing the first of the big tunas landed. Absolute clockwork. But so southerly fishing charters have brought in to my knowledge, the first barrels of the season, having a triple hookup and some very exciting fishing there. I did not send Joe through the photo, but there it is on my phone.
No, it
Beautiful
happens.
big tuna at the gantry there at Port Mac.
We love that gantry.
So you can hear the sound of 1,000 F-250s firing up as they rumble down that highway for the weekend.
Sorry, just that picture of that gantry has just brought me back to when we went there last year. So we had a fantastic day. We caught our barrel tuna. We came back in and there was this giant, huge crowd. And there's some kind of fishing competition that was on the same day. And you know, like William caught his first barrel and really wanted to get a weight on it. And there was a big crowd, and literally on this gantry, there must have been like the smallest nanagai snapper ever hanging up from a rope on this. And Dave screamed out something like, "Get that thing off. We've got a barrel to weigh." Do you remember? Like a little nanagai just hanging from a rope. And you're like, "Get that stupid thing off." Like,
Spinning around in the
there was
breeze.
like about 250 people there. He just like yelled it at the back of the crowd.
You're putting some mayo on it there. No, there's a big competition down there every year, and they were doing some sort of line class thing. But yeah, we wanted to stroll in with our big tuna and hang it in front of the crowds. Like absolute Yahoo.
And you wonder why they don't like the Victorians.
No, I don't wonder why. I know why.
Okay.
But yeah, well, there you go. It's begun. It starts there, and then very shortly we'll see them coming through past our doorstep. You probably wouldn't. So there's still a few school tuna kicking around locally, Joe. Potentially quite a few. But
my phone's been ringing hot. Joe, where the tuna? Where the tuna? I said, I don't know. Haven't been out.
I haven't been out, but there has been a few ticking along. They're a little bit harder than they were, but geez, you would be well advised if you're going out there now to take a couple of big rods with you because, well, you're always a chance of a big fish out there, but we're starting to come to that time of season. I've heard there's been a couple of whale sightings off the back of the island already, Joe.
Boo.
And generally when
That's the whale siren.
Thank you. And generally when the whales come through, they're chasing that bigger bait, which the tuna will soon follow.
Yes.
Tip of the week, though, do not go near those whales
Oh, yeah.
because the whale watchers do not like it.
Yeah.
And you'll be arrested and thrown in whale jail.
Mm.
Whale jail. So, yeah, exciting fishing coming up there. Joe is all over the sound effects today. Peter Ferguson. He's always good for a report, Joe. He's been down at Port Welshpool
Yes, he
fishing
has.
with our friend, everyone's friend, Reese Kennedy,
Oh.
and Kieran Brimlow.
Mhm.
Who's actually been on my boat in the past as well. He's another great fella. And they were amongst the gummy sharks, kingfish, and squid, and flatty dogs. So they got a massively awesome mixed bag down there at Welshpool.
Good Friday fish sorted right there.
So for their day, they got 5 gummies, 4 kings, some squid, and some flatty dogs. Covered about 125k of water, and gummy sharks were up to around 22 kilo.
That's a good
Can't
session.
really complain with that.
It's been a full moon the last week. I'm sure there's been some fantastic gummy fishing that's been had.
Absolutely. And the options are absolutely limitless for this weekend, Joe. So hopefully people can get amongst it. The marlin bite continues up the coast. Jarvis Bay being the hot spot lately. Also, straight off Sydney has seen some insane fishing. All the guys, imagine like us running out of Melbourne and there just being an epic marlin bite going on. That would be pretty cool. That's what they've had up there at Sydney, Joe.
And make sure you've got your bent butt rods like crisscrossed there like that when you're going out. That's the cool thing to do.
How good was running flags last time we went? We were just, we were the coolest, weren't we?
It's pretty cool.
We were one of them. Anyway, really good marlin bite there off Sydney and JB. Still some fish filtering in from Burmie and Eden as well. Actually, looking at the charts just today, it looked like that Malakuta Eden region actually still looked quite good. So if you can get amongst them. Swordfish, a few people have been going out there, and there has been the dreaded toadfish snipping at lines,
Oh,
Joe.
no.
So
The
hopefully
GTs.
once that water cools off slightly, it will become less of a problem. I was even talking to a friend of the show today, and they'd gone as far as to investigate whether their boat insurance would cover the loads snipping them
Hey,
off.
with the price of insurance nowadays, I'd ask.
Well, you reckons he would come out on top if he made a claim, if he had a few swordfish lines cleaned up. So
Bloody hell.
worth looking into. Or you just maybe wait a little bit. But yeah, so that'll be kicking off very soon as well. Many, many options to be had, Joe. So that is my roundup. Have you got anything else to add there? Some local whiting fishing going on?
Oh yeah, well, look, it's more look. The whiting fishing has been fantastic in Western Port. I, for one, this Good Friday, I'm going to collect some whiting to eat. I've been on a new fitness regime, and on the fitness regime, it says 250 grams of barramundi to have like basically every night for dinner this week. And I'm not very impressed with barramundi. So
Yeah.
I asked my trainer, I said, is there any other white fish I can do? And he's like, yeah, you can do any other white fish. I was like, great. I'm going to go catch some whiting. But I would be saying if I was a betting man and I wanted to catch a whiting this weekend, I reckon there's going to be about 50 gazillion boats on the middle spit at Western Port. So I'd either go far south, maybe Tortoise Head, Phillip Island, Cows down that way, or I'd go far north. Forget about the middle spit. There'll be no whiting there.
Oh, that's a big call.
Oh, isn't it?
I'd say there'd be
Controversial.
some whiting there still, but that's okay. I've heard Quail Bank, Warneat region's been really good as well.
Ooh.
So all those feeder channels up the top probably worth a look, Joe, as you just said.
I need to write them down.
What did you think of the barramundi, by the way? Because we had a little pre-podcast dinner, and yeah, I had some, because I've joined you in this weight loss thing. Just while I'm here tonight, I'll go back to eating ice cream when I get home. And you cooked me up some chicken breast, but you had the last of your mulloway, and mulloway.
I wish it was mulloway.
Your barramundi, and you really just had to choke it on down, Joe. In fact, it ground your gears.
Yeah, it did.
Really infuriating.
We now go to Peter Griffin for You Know What Really Grinds My Gears.
Thanks, Tom. You know what really grinds my gears?
Yeah, so I got my hot oil going on in the pan, and I've rubbed in the salt and cracked pepper into the skin, and seasoned it beautifully. And I've popped that barramundi skin on the hot oil, and I've crisped it up beautifully. And what appeared to look like a nice fish, it hadn't been good. And I said to Dave, I said, "Do you want to try some of my barramundi? This is absolute piss." And he's like, "Nah."
Yeah, it looked horrible. So that grinds your gears.
No, but I've eaten good barramundi before, Dave. It's not over for the barramundi species. And I've played.
No, I think you've had a bad batch there.
No, I've played up in Darwin before. I've played some base up there, and in Cairns played some base up there. And there was every time I've eaten barramundi in the northern states, it's been absolutely. Good friend of the show, Jonah Yick, mentioned that potentially the saltwater barramundi is a lot tastier than the maybe freshwater barramundi, which I would tend to believe, because my philosophy with tasty fish, why they're tasty. The fish that eats a lot of different other things, the meat's going to be tasty.
Okay.
Yeah.
The fish that eat a lot of other things. Oh, like a varied diet.
Yeah, varied diet. Like they might eat fish, they might eat crabs, they might eat a whole bunch of different ocean protein sources. They will be good. So, like the common flathead sits on the bottom of the ocean and eats everything.
Absolute garbage they eat.
Yeah, and
yet they taste good.
They taste fantastic.
Well, someone could correct me. I might be wrong here, but I would have thought farm barramundi's potentially in freshwater. Could be wrong. And maybe that attributes to the crap taste, Joe.
Yeah, but no, that barramundi was absolute piss tonight.
Well, you know what? It's not really good enough that you're buying fish to cook anyway, so you do need to get out there and get stuck into those whiting.
Yeah, it's about time. It's about damn time, as Lizzo famously said.
It is about damn time. So I am going to let us go and you go, so you can go off and rig your whiting rigs
Yes.
and go.
That's
and,
one rod I can rig up pretty quickly. And everything else, Dave sets it up for me.
So that's reasonably straightforward. So you are going out with your father on Friday?
Yes, we're taking out the dory, which has been, it's almost been a year since we've used
Oh,
it.
dearie me. You might get it up to its 20-hour service.
Ugh, we just had to pay that service. Don't even get me started on that, bro. we just had to pay. We had to pay the service on time, not even engine use. It's like, oh, you've had it for about 6 months. You got to service it. It's like,
Yes,
what?
but it's done 2 hours.
We haven't even done anything to it. Oh, but you had it for 6 months. You better service it. Oh shit! All right.
Oh, you know who's a quick throw in for the fishing reports? And speaking of your tinny, because the last time we used it was at Lake Purrumbete.
Yes.
Good friend of the show, Dave Jurisic, has been down there getting into the chin dogs, Joey.
Oh,
Now that's got to be some good weight loss fish, doesn't it?
yes.
And they're in fresh water.
Yeah, but like I don't know. There's lots of salts, natural salts in that Crater Lake. So yeah, it's a bit like that fish tank.
Peter
behind
Pakula
me.
did tell us that, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
He said they're used to eating salt from their heritage or something.
Yep.
That's why they ate our pilchards and bluefin.
Mm-hmm. Actually, we should go down to that lovely little lake again.
We absolutely should. That's a good idea.
Go light a bonfire and sing Kumbaya, hold hands.
Wonderful. Look
Yep.
forward to it. All right, Joe. I'm gonna.
No, I've had fun.
I've had fun too. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up for the night. Thanks everyone who jumped on and joined us. And if you're listening back on the live feed, on the audio playback or on YouTube, then thank you very much.
Oh.
Hopefully you're having a great day.
Got to one very last announcement. So yeah, it's been made to my attention that on Apple Podcasts, Wind Against Tide, we are ranked number 64 in leisure and recreation, which is apparently quite a contested category to be in. So congratulations, Dave.
Is that good?
Well, number 64.
Is there only 65 podcasts?
I don't know.
No, actually, on like this is logistics right here, but actually our audio listenership has gone skyrocketed.
Okay.
And definitely has been on the improve. So everyone is getting around it on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, no, we thank you. Without you guys, we'd have no show. So always appreciate that.
All right. Let's shut it down and we'll go and upload it so people can listen to it. Thanks, everyone.
Happy
Have a great
Easter.
night. See you later.